Let me welcome you members in our CRC meeting of today. Members will note that this meeting has been not sitting for some times, but we were able to deal with the issues that was affecting the committee not to sit. So now, members, we do have an agenda in front of us. Are there any apology, pilot? Any apology?
Yes, Chair, there is an apology from Honorable Mikalakis and Honorable Okam. They tendered apologies.
Okay. Honorable Dango is in a place of a challenge in terms of network. He also raised an apology that he might be in and out. It depends on how the network strengths at that particular moment. Colleagues, let me also, I don't know, Co-Chair, if I may continue with the agenda.
Proceed, Co-Chair.
Thanks, members. This is a proposed agenda in front of us. Can everybody see the flattered the program in front of us?
Yes, Chair.
Any other issues that members would want to add on the agenda? Anybody? I don't see a hands. It means this agenda will be the agenda for the day. So before we adopt it, members, I propose that item 5, can you go back to it, pilot? That item 5 should be item 4, because the content advisor will be giving us, will be updating us first, which led to the program. So I think if we can swap around the two, because we can't start by considering the committee program before we got the briefing that might lead us into that program of the day. Can that be acceptable by members?
That's an order, Chair, but is it pilot or pilate?
I don't know, but I call him pilot.
I hear you constantly saying pilot, and I'm thinking of SAA now.
No, you are correct, Honorable Member. Yeah, it's pilot.
Pilot.
Yes.
You see, the chair has been calling you wrong for a long time. Apology, members. I'm being corrected.
You're affected by the SAA debate.
Yeah. Maybe let's not go there, members. The chair has apologized. I think that has been taken by the committee. Let's move to item 3. Members, there's a program that we will be briefed here by the content advisor. First, just to recap on issues that have happened from the beginning up until now, and where are we with the issues that need us to process, and those that have already been processed, and some presentation, those that will want to come and give presentation to the committee before we take those matters to the House. So I think now we are under item 3, where we give it to what's now, pilot?
Yes, it's gonna be me, Chair. Yes, I hope you can see what I've highlighted here.
Oh, okay. So now is the minutes first.
Yes.
Okay.
Can everybody see?
Yeah,
Yes,
we do
pilot.
see you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is page 1, where we are. It's basically the attendance. I don't know if there's somebody who was present whose name is not reflected here. Maybe they can indicate. And page 2. Maybe Chair, you can lead, and then you tell me to go to the next page when members are satisfied, or if there are amendments.
Yeah, page 2, members. There's a presentation there, and there was a presentation made by the content advisor. You remember some of these issues will come to as well to the recap. You'll get most of these issues on the recap for those that wanted to present and those that proposed constitutional for provision protection of against corruption. Those were the items that were discussed in that meeting. Can you go up again? Some of these issues, like your submission, it will come to the program that will be coming. Any other addition, members, or something left out here? No. Let's go to page 3. These were the last submission, members. Any other amendment there? And then the meeting was closed at 20 past 1. Any mover of the minutes? Thanks, Parrot. Any mover of the minutes?
Chairperson.
Yes,
Yes,
Audrey.
Honorable Maleka.
Yes, sorry for not opening my video. We've got a lot shedding, so my network is not fine. On page 1, I don't see my name anywhere. I don't know whether maybe I didn't see attendance in the attendance register.
Yeah, by that time you were not deployed in this committee. That's my recap. If you look at the dates of the minutes there. Go back, Pilot.
No, maybe Chair, if Honorable Maleka was present, I can just check the register, but it's something that I can easily insert her name. If she was present in this meeting, I'll just add her.
Okay, sort that one out. Because I don't see her at all in all this.
Yeah, because
okay.
I was already in part of the meeting. I was already deployed in this meeting to be part of.
Okay.
Chair.
Yes.
Chair.
Yes.
Good morning. Good morning, Chair.
Mm.
I can't see my name too. I don't know if maybe which meeting is this, because I've never stayed away from any meeting.
I know, Jelly, as well. No, you're right. Who else?
Maseko Jele.
Yes, Chair, that's noted.
Right. Now, can we get a mover of the meeting, of the minutes?
I move for the adoption of the meeting, Chair. Minutes, Chair.
Thanks,
Could the member identify yourself, please, Chair?
Maseko Jele.
Okay.
Any seconder members?
Is Honorable Breitenbach.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg your pardon. I'm happy to second the minutes as they will be amended if the two members were in fact present and their names are added. I'm just worried about Honorable Maseko Jele proposing minutes when her name does not appear there. I'm not disputing the fact that she was present. But if you look at the minutes, her name's not there, so that may be a technical problem.
Okay. I thought we agreed, members, that those that felt that they were in the meeting, remember we're using visual these days and all that. Let's sort it. That's why we agreed that if they were there, they must be put in the minutes. That's why she also seconded that we must, she moves the minute.
There is a hand
Are we
check.
agreed? Are we together there? Yes, Pilot?
There was a hand from Honorable Mashele.
Honorable Mashele?
No, I wanted to second Jele and Honorable Bregenberg that who adopted the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Any other view? The minute is seconded. Any other additional issues or different view? No. We take that this minutes has been adopted. Thank you very much, members. Let's move to the next item. Our next item is the briefing, members. Actually, it's more of a recap of all the other issues that we have discussed in our previous meeting. We agreed that Sesanda, our content advisor, she will take us through those items for today's meeting. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Chairpersons and Honorable members of the committee and all my colleagues. My name is Sesanda Sipamla, and as the chair has indicated, I would like to just give the committee a recap of where we left off and the decisions taken by the committee in order for us to move forward. In 2020, the committee received 54 submissions and processed the submissions by means of categorizing them. Committee decided that 33 of the submissions we received at the time were not along the mandate of the committee, and that 11 of those and there were also 10 category 2 submissions which required legal advice, to which the committee has received a briefing from legal services in that regard, and that there were 11 category 3 submissions which were submissions that were ready for consideration as per the submissions. The committee then resolved that the Secretariat should write back to these submitters with regard to the ones that have been decided upon, and we have done so, and submitters have been informed that of the committee's decision regarding their submissions. Where we left off is in 2022 of April, the committee then requested that I do a summary of the legal opinions which it received with regard to the submissions. The committee, as I've said, received 10 legal, referred 10 submissions to legal services. And just as a recap to take members through, the committee received a submission 2 of 2020 from Mr. Moloko, and they were requesting addition of Chapter 9 institution. The committee was briefed on this by legal services. The second submission was by Mr. Handris on the review of accountability provisions, and the committee already received a legal opinion on that. The third one was by the Kutso on behalf of the Balubadu dogma on the review of Kilubedu and making it an official language. The committee also received a briefing on that. The committee then also received a briefing on submission 33 on page 8, which was on the removal of the reference to God in the preamble of the Constitution. The committee also received a submission from Mr. Martin Staden, which was submission 34 on the review of section 1 and 36. And the committee received a legal briefing on that, which is summarized on the document that I'm going through. The 6th submission was by Mr. Paul Hoffman, and he requested the insertion of a new Chapter 9 institution. And the committee also received a legal briefing in that regard. The committee also received then a submission that you'll remember from Equal Education, which was with regard to the review of section 100. And this came from the 5th Parliament, and it was recommended that this committee follow up on the conclusion of the submission and on it being taken up by Parliament for finalization. On page 16, the committee also received a submission from Justin Ballot, which was submission 53. And this was for the review of section 1, section 2, section 11, section 12, section 14, 27, 35, and section 38. And the committee also received a briefing on that from legal services. The 9th submission was also by Justin Bolt, and this was submission 54, and it was on a different matter. He was requesting the committee that there is a need for constitutional provisions to protect officials against corrupt instructions. The committee also received a legal briefing in that regard. And the last submission, which the committee referred to legal services, was by Mr. Naidu. And this was on various sections of the Constitution, namely section 18, 22, 27, 34, 37, 1A and B, section 171, section 173, section 174, and section 178, subsection 1E and J. The committee also received a lengthy legal opinion in this regard, wherein I briefed the committee on the summary of the presentation. After this committee meeting, wherein the summary was given to the members resolved that prior to deciding on the desirability on the proposals made in these submissions, they would like to hear directly from the submitters and interact with them, as they cannot, based on this legal advice and just having had the summaries, make a conclusive decision as to whether these proposals are desirable to amend the Constitution or not. And so myself and the Secretariat then carried out the request of the committee, and we drafted a program which then will speak to the availability of these submitters to come before the committee in order to brief the committee. The strategy I proposed to the committee in order for us to conclude our work before the end of the parliamentary term is that we, as the committee, once we hear a presenter on a matter, we should take the decision after the submitter has been given an opportunity to speak and make a decision on the desirability, and that also we should address our low-hanging fruits, which are the language matters, which have also been outstanding. And so our program, which the committee secretary will now take us through, has been drafted, which encapsulates then a program for public hearings. And we propose that based on the availability on the submitters, we start with the language issue. Members will remember that they wanted to hear from the stakeholders invested with the promulgation of developing these languages, to hear how far they are with regards to carrying out the work which has led to South African Sign Language being declared as an official language. Members will also hear from the department with regard to Kiswahili, which was one of the submissions we've received, and also the matter of Kilubedu, which has been long outstanding since the third parliament. The idea is that members will then hear from the stakeholders and the submitters, and members can make a resolution on the desirability of these submissions so that we can close off the submissions of that year. Then moving forward, the strategy that I propose is that we take on the remaining years, we combine them so that we consider the 2021, 22, 23 submissions together, and that members then continue as they have with processing the submissions by deciding which ones they feel are ready for submit, that are ready for a decision by the committee, and which ones they would like to hear directly from submitters, and whether they would perhaps also like to hear from stakeholders vested with the matter that is being proposed in a particular submission. Without going into too much detail, this is the high-level presentation that we have strategized at MENCO in order to bring members up to speed with how far we've come, and a proposed program which will then speak to what the committee has requested. Thank you, members.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sisanda, with the presentation. Members, here we are with our programs. Any other comment I want to see from the members regarding what has been presented? Am I audible, members?
Yes, you are, Chairperson.
That is a brief summary, even though it's not even brief, it's more detailed. Members, I think it's easy to remember the whole process as to how far she has almost captured a number of things that we thought that members, it will assist them to recap on these issues. If non-members, I suggest that there was also a recommendation. Oh, there is a hand.
Yes, there is a hand from Honorable Ngola and Honorable Masego Jele.
And followed by Masego Jele.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Let's welcome the briefing on the program. But the first thing I want to check, the program only starts on the 10th of March until the 31st of March. So I want to check if we are going to do a monthly program, month by month, and prioritize those submissions. The second issue, Chair, I wish to raise is on the 24th, a briefing on the issue of sign language as an official language. Because I serve also in the Justice and Correctional Services Portfolio Committee. And as we speak, Chair, the Portfolio Committee is already attending to this matter. The 18th Constitutional Amendment Bill is already underway, and it has already undergone the public submissions as well. So I want to check, Chair, if won't we be duplicating that work of the Justice and Correctional Services Portfolio Committee? Thank you very much.
Thanks, Honorable Tola. Let's go to Jele.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. But I think Honorable Tola has covered me. Whatever I wanted to say in terms of the sign language. But last, and also the issue of the public hearing. Just to add that the public hearing, are we inviting them to come here? I don't remember very well. I think, Chair, let me raise also the issue of, taking time for us to sit. I'm not sure if maybe we agreed in this issue of taking time before we sit, because we even forget issues, you know. I'm not sure if maybe if we agreed that there must be a pause for us to sit in this committee. I'm sure one way or the other we'll have to look into that issue, because we forget about issues if we stay for a long time without sitting. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Honorable Jele. Then maybe let me give it to Sisanda to respond, and also other members of the MENCO to respond on these matters. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. In response to Honorable Ngola's question, the committee will thank you for the update on the work that's been done. However, based on the emphasis that was made by the committee at the time, the matter had not progressed to where it has progressed now. The issue would now be for the committee to ensure that it records the fact that the committee, the PC, has now dealt with the matter in its report of all the matters it has processed, because ours as the CRC is to ensure that we have followed up on matters where Parliament is seeming to be silent on them. So now that we are aware and we've been made aware that this matter is being processed and there have been interactions in its regard, it's now up to the members to ensure that it is encapsulated and captured within our report to Parliament, that Parliament is now taking this matter further, and then we can then identify Kiswahili and the matter of Kilubedu, which are also very important language issues, because the committee had said strategically it would be easier to put together all the language matters. And then we focus on following up on those, so that the matter of the language issues during this parliamentary term is at least dealt with direction for the following Parliament. And with regard to Mamngaila's question on the public hearings, yes, Honorable Member, it was the request of the committee at the last sitting that before they make a decision on these important matters, having heard the legal opinions and having heard the summary, they also want to hear directly from submitters. And it has been the practice of the committee to give the members of the public an opportunity to come before the committee where their matters are almost have a complexity attached to them, so that members can ask submitters directly. And therefore, yes, Honorable Member, in answering you, the committee did request that then we call these submitters, which we have requested legal opinions for, because the committee at the time was not comfortable with just making a decision without having interacted with submitters. Thank you, members.
Any other member of the MENCO to want to give some additional response?
Chair, can I make a follow-up before that?
You're welcome, Marcel.
Thank you very much, Chair. My question is going to be, before we get maybe to that point, again, in connection with the issue of language, is it necessary now? In fact, we are agreeing now, we are taking it out because it is dealt with in Justice and Correctional Committee. We are taking out this sign language, because calling them again when we called them, because we have done that process that we are supposed to be doing now, we are going to take due care of calling them to come and make presentation. We, in that committee, in the other committee, we have already called them. They have presented, and we are about to close them, discuss the matter and close it, take it to the NCOP. So my question is that the cue that we are going to take, are we going to call them again, or we just take it out and stay with these ones that we have and call those ones? Chair, I think the issue of, we can't decide of calling the presenters to come and present when we have taken a decision. We are still coming back again to talk about that issue, and we are taking long before we sit. I think let's let's get into these issues maybe in a manner that gives us a way forward, very progressive one. I'm not sure, because we're still going to respond to my question as to why do we sit for such a long time, have a pause, break for such a long time without sitting, and then we end up forgetting issues. You see, now we are talking about things that maybe we should have not, we are not supposed to be entertaining now. Thank you, Chair.
And anybody wants to respond before I come in?
Chair, can I say something? I can't
Yes.
raise my hand. I'm host. I think, Chair, just maybe to touch on what Sisanda was saying. The issue of sign language, remember, was kept on being raised. So we didn't know this was just gonna be the previous fifth parliament made the recommendation to the National Assembly to say it is desirable to amend. So we were unaware where the process is. So this meeting was just going to be a meeting to ask the relevant people or the stakeholders to just give a briefing on how far is the process since the fifth parliament, which recommended the amendment of the constitution. So in light of the information that we have received, I would also agree that it may not be necessary to even consider this issue in our program anymore. Thank you.
Okay, members. Maybe before Paula, is that the first a legacy hand, Paula, or is a new hand?
It's a new hand, Chair.
Okay. Okay, let me hear you first. Okay.
No, Chair, I just wanted to make a proposal or a submission.
Yes, maybe.
Because I see that on Tuesday, the 14th, the Portfolio Committee on Justice and Correctional Services will be submitting responses, will be receiving responses to the submissions on the deliberations on the Constitutional 18th Amendment Bill. So my proposal is, it is acceptable that there has not been a communication between the two portfolio committees. Now the proposal would be the committee secretariat must write to those stakeholders who submitted in respect of the sign language officialization and inform them that the matter is being attended by Parliament through the Justice and Correctional Services Portfolio Committee, and it's upon its finalization, and it will soon be submitted to the National Assembly for adoption. I just wanted to propose that, Chair, as a way forward. Then we just remove it from the program. Thank you very much, Chair.
That's a submission, Chair, and it's a very clear one. I wanted to get into that space as well to say we can't just simply remove an item because another committee is dealing with it. And then how do you justify? You said, I heard in the meeting that this is, I think the way Claudia has put it, it's now more structural than any other things. Leave it with the Secretariat to deal with this matter so that this committee as well will be in position of a decision that comes direct from the committee that has been dealing with the matter. Do we agree on that proposal, members? Sisanda,
Yes,
is that also a way to go? Is this thing be done that way as well?
Correct, Chairperson. We have to note it in our report, the report that we drafted at the end of the year, that this matter, it was a legacy matter for CRC, and therefore CRC has seen that the matter has been taken forward by the PC on Justice and Correctional Services. It will be a one-liner, but it must be reflected that the committee has followed up and processed the finalization of this matter. Thank you, Chair.
Then let me get a member to move the seconder. It can't be you, JLA.
Good morning, Chair. I support.
Morning.
Yes, I support the idea of us noting it. I do believe that we can't just not consider it, but we should just make a note that it is being dealt with by the PC on Justice.
Thanks, Dr. Mimi. Tim?
I wanted to second say I'm covered. Thank you very much.
Thank you, members. Yeah, then we are left with those two now that will be processing going forward. Thanks, members. Can we now go to the program, the proposed program?
Okay, Chair, so we are here. Then, so we're going to remove this matter and then replace it with the, yeah, okay. So the issue of languages, it was gonna be Kiswahili and if I'm not mistaken, the issue of Kilobetu, right? Kilobetu.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. But again, you will advise me on the dates because sometimes these dates will clash with other programs of Parliament and the committee. But that's a matter for another time. So this is where we are. Okay? We have got accountability now, which is an organization, which is a submission from Advocate Paul Hoffman. They were proposing certain amendments on the issue of fighting corruption, and they were proposing the introduction of another body or a Chapter 9 institution that will be independent. And so the committee felt strongly that they should come and brief us on the matter. They've already indicated that they are ready to make their presentation. So we thought they can come next week. The other organization that is almost related to their matter was the independence of the National Director of Public Prosecutions. They felt strongly that the Constitution needs to be reviewed and make specific provisions regarding the appointment or dismissal of the head of the NPA and other senior officials. That also related to that was the submission from the Helen Suzman Foundation that deals with the appointment of judges and the panel that selects judges, which is the Judicial Service Commission. I will leave it there, Chair, for deliberations.
Okay, go down. Yes, 24th March. Take us through 24th March. Yes, Pilot.
I've been talking on mute, Chair. Sorry about that. So here on the 24th of March, there is an association. There is the African Justice Association, a gentleman by the name of Mr. Tsidi. If they want the Constitution to be reviewed, particularly Section 173 and Section 211, they feel that the Constitution does not give due regard to African law. More like it sort of places African law maybe subservient maybe to Roman Dutch law and other legal systems. So they specifically point to these two sections. So the committee also felt maybe they should come and elaborate what their concerns are before the committee can take a decision. So that we felt it will tie well with the issue of languages, which would be a briefing on the development of Swahili and Kilobetu. And then one relevant stakeholder was the Department of Education that was identified to come and brief us. And I think other stakeholders will be the experts who have taken part in the development of the Kilobetu language to brief us on how far they are, because there were concerns from PenSouth and other bodies that the language may not be as developed enough to qualify or to be considered an official language. But there were other views also that no, indeed there is progress that has been made in that regard. So the committee agreed to invite them. So that is the date proposed. But I also want to point out that this date may also be unsuitable based on other considerations, but the content is what I've presented.
Okay. Thanks, pilot members. That is the presentation. But answer the question then as to how did we arrive only the program to start from from beginning of March to the end of March.
Oh, okay. The program of Parliament, I'm trying to flight it. So the program of Parliament, the first term ends on the 31st of March, which will be the Friday, and then from the 3rd of April until the 18th would be constituency period. Then the second term will start after the 18th, which will be from the 19th. So we do have a program that I can flight it here, but it will be for the second term. So for now, we are dealing with the first term program, which will end on the 31st. So our committee sits on Fridays. So from these are the dates that we are allocated to until the end of the term, which ends on the 31st of March. I hope I'm clear.
Very clear and loud and clear. I think you can only summarize now the decision of the some of the discussion of the MENCO for this committee not to sit for a long time. Just these were the areas that we highlighted and also rectified, because that is the last question that was not answered. I knew it was going to be answered when we were presenting the program. Would you attempt to that, or you want the chair to deal with it?
Okay, Chair, I can attempt to that. In many instances, Chair, we scheduled the meetings last year. We were not sitting, partly due to not correcting, and also due to the meetings being postponed or cancelled. And then the other issue was that there was an issue of floods that took place in provinces KZN, Eastern Cape, and Northwest. There were two co-chairpersons of that committee, Honorable Frolik, who is the House Chair, and Honorable Nyambi, who is the House Chair of the NCOP. I was requested to assist that committee. So by and large, that committee was doing oversight visits almost on a weekly basis, from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sundays. So we were unable to meet due to some of those reasons, Chairperson, that because they asked that there was the national state of disaster was declared, and they had prioritized. They asked that members should prioritize the work of that. It was an ad hoc committee, so it finished its work and then submitted the report, Chair, at the end of the year last year.
No, thanks, Pilot. But just in summary, members, this committee, it gets easily affected when there are national disaster matters, because most members who serve in this committee, they also serve on those critical, especially on the security cluster, and also on the security cluster, including the COCTA meeting, traditional affairs. Those meetings affects our meetings a lot, because most members, they serve to those committees. So they get easily deployed to those committees to deal with some of the emergency issues. But members, I can assure you that all those matters have been dealt with together with the management that also assist us on providing our support team into these committees. So thank you very much, members, So that is the program that is presented in front of us. Any other comment?
Chair, my hand is up.
I can see you, Maseko.
This is for the last time, Chair, because I'm about to vote now.
Yeah.
Yes. Chair, I just for interest's sake, before we close this thing, I don't know what is the procedure of maybe allowing, because we are going to have presentations, remember, as we agreed from
Yes.
those, yes. There are presentations, there are languages, like for example, there's something in public that is very serious about the Khoisan language. And I don't know how they missed this for them to make a submission. It's just a question for interest's sake, just to understand, because if we happen to go through this process and they discover that we are on these languages about to make them officials, and the issue of Khoisan has always been on an issue and they are not included here, I'm not sure what that can be a problem to us, and also, you know, the noise and whatever. But I don't know the procedure in terms of that, of making sure that maybe it's also included. So I might be out of order. You are right to say that you are out of order, member. Thank you.
Not at all, Jen. Maybe also what we miss here is the latest submission. Submission are done in May every year. So we are still processing 2021,
2020, Chair.
2020. Maybe what we can do to address this matter, I just thinking aloud in this meeting that can't we get the latest submission 2021-2022 submission and check there other matters that can be, we think that are of a nature that are desirable. We know what is undesirable now by now. The desirable matters that we can also see if we can process, include to our congested program like this. So that when we move out of this year, we have already resolved even 2021 and 2022. Can that be practically possible, Sisanda?
Yes, Chair, it is possible. I would have to then brief you at Menko on them. It was just a matter of keeping the committee on track with how far we've come with the ones we have processed. The ones that we are yet to process, I can scan them and provide the chairs with a high-level presentation on matters that touch on some of these matters, perhaps in the next Menko, so that we can try to combine matters that are relevant. That is possible, Chair. However, we do need to ensure that there are submissions that speak to these matters, and submissions can also be made by members. It's not just the members of the public. And so, Chair, if they are there, I will pick them up and I will bring them to your attention as soon as our next main committee. Thank you, Chairperson.
Chairperson, through you.
Yes,
if I can
yes.
yes, Chair. I wanted to, I'm scanning here on the recommendation by the previous committee that of the Fifth Parliament. In their recommendation on sign language, Chair, they make reference to sign language and other languages. So it may also be interpreted to encompass those other languages that may not even be mentioned specifically, because it is my understanding of it would be that it is broad enough to cover that, but we can streamline it and maybe specifically identify, maybe if a member feels strongly about maybe another language, they can, when we open in May, we are in March, April, May, there'll be another session or another chance for members of the public to write to us and make proposals, so that can be an opening or for such submissions to be raised.
Yeah, but she was specific. Masego said she's talking about the Cohen son. I
Yes,
know
Chairperson.
we have been dealing with that bill in 3 years back in the NA, but I think she's specific. Scan through if that as to how far with that bill, so that it can be captured well. The others will come, but she was very specific on this one. Maybe after we have collected you ratify all those new submission. If that one is not there, we will go back to Mjele and say, no, it's not there. Then we find a way how it can be reintroduced back to the pipeline.
Yes, Chair. I can confirm that it is not in any of the submissions that are before us at the moment.
Now you are helping the meeting. It's not there, Jele.
Can you include it if it's possible, Chair? Thank you.
Chairperson, we cannot include it if it's not submit if there is no submission. So there needs to be either the member can make a submission when we open in May, or any other member of the public should make a submission to us to say we specifically request the committee to consider this matter, but we can't just include it for
no problem, Chair. Let's do the procedure as it is, as we're supposed to be doing it. Thank you, Chair. My apology for that.
No, you were right, because you wanted to know actually as to what are the right procedure to ensure that this matter at the end of the day is being addressed. That's my understanding, the way you put it. No, thanks, members. Any other deliberation around this program? I don't see any hand.
So maybe, Chair, what I propose is that the committee can decide to adopt the program, maybe as a working document or with amendments that have been suggested. Then we conclude the matter.
Yeah, you know, when it comes to propose, can't be you. Pilot, and let me give it to the members. Members, here is the program presented in front of you as a working document. May I have a mover of this program so that we start keep the ball rolling on it? Any mover?
Chair.
There is Tola.
I rise to move for the adoption of this program with the slight changes that have been made. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tola. Any seconder? Before the load trading, members?
Yeah. Let me second the mover with the understanding that it's a working document. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, members. And any other view, different view?
Chairperson, if I may?
Yes.
Chairperson, there was the matter of the conference that is taking place on the 24th. I think we had agreed that we'd at least announce to the committee, and the committee secretary has the name of the conference and whether the committee has interest in it, just to put it on the table as per the management meeting discussions, Chairperson.
Oh, I still wanted just to finalize this program. This program is adopted, members, and then we've got another new item. That is a new item, the invitation. Can you take us through the invitation to the justice? Yes, Sandra, you can just present it or pilot.
Okay, Chair, I will speak to it.
Yeah.
There is an invitation from the Minister of Justice they are holding a conference from the 22nd to the 24th. I think you'll remember I mentioned that the program on the 24th, which will be Friday, it may be affected by this invitation. It's a national conference on the Constitution, reflections and the road ahead. So it does affect our committee in many ways. So they've invited us to be part of that conference. The president will be there in one of the sessions as a main speaker. So the committee, so if the committee feels they want to attend, then we can make the necessary processes to enable that to happen.
Additional? Any additions, Sandra?
No, Chairperson, just for the strategy is that so that we can stay on course with our program, I would propose to Chair, how about just sending delegates and someone then who can report back to the committee, so that the committee, with the time constraints that we are facing, we don't clash and fall off the wagon with the work that we already have planned. So perhaps to send delegates instead of having the entire committee and then having our program being delayed. I don't know if that's in order, Chairperson.
Indeed, it's in order, and then let me put it to the members.
Chairperson.
Yeah.
Can I just come in there?
Yes, Doctor.
I think this is a historic conference, and which is going to touch on different aspects of the Constitution. Some of those aspects are the aspects on which some submissions have been made to us. So I wanted to plead with the committee that we actually just spare those days, 22nd to 24th, and fully participate there. And that is also an opportunity for members of this committee to interact with the stakeholders in the justice fraternity. So I really want to appeal that we shouldn't just send delegates, but all of us who are available should be in that conference.
There you are, members. Let me start with you, Paula, so that I like a rolling meeting, Paula. Your view?
No, Chair, I just want to second that. Thank you very much.
Marcella? Tim? Jelle?
There is
Jelle?
Honorable Breitenbach, Chair. Honorable Jelle didn't, there is no hand from Honorable Jelle. There is Honorable Breitenbach and Honorable Kaba.
I would like all the members to talk on these matters. I didn't see Honorable Bracken. Come in, my leader. Because
Thank you, Honorable
I don't see the
Chairperson.
hands this side. Members can talk as soon as the other one is finished. Comrade Bratton.
Thanks, Honorable Chair. I second the view held by Honorable Dr. Machecha. I just want to point out that the Justice Portfolio Committee will be on oversight at that time, and so it will be very difficult for us to attend, those of us who are on the Justice Committee. But I do think it's a good idea that as many people as possible go. Thank you.
Thank you. Next member.
Supported, Chair.
Chair, is supported, but also in consideration with what Honorable Breitenbach is talking about.
Oh,
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yes. No, it's fine. I saw Honorable Cyril. Saklama.
Chair, Honorable Kaba spoke. He said he supports.
Yes, I supported the chair because, I mean, look, this is a once-off thing. We will not have a similar event possibly within the next 5 years. Yet the committee has the full year. We can move our program as we wish. So on that score, I support that. I mean, we also have, my committee also has what you call this, an oversight visit from the 27th to the 30th. But I don't think it coincides very much with the dates that are proposed here. I thought I should just mention that.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Taba. And then who else has not? Tim?
Chair, I align myself with the views proposed by Prof. Mtsebe. I think let's participate on it. Thank you very much.
Did I left any other member on the platform?
Yes, Chair, it's Honorable Gondwe. Yes, I'm also in support of the idea of the whole committee attending this conference. As other members have alluded to, the fact that it will not happen again and it's a once-off. So let's make the most of it. And this is our chance to interact with other, crucial stakeholders. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Doctor. Members, there is a unanimous view on this matter. What we need to do, I hope Pilot and Sisanda, you'll work around the program again and see how we also cater for these days that will be affected. Just juggle around the program. I think the members will give you a permission just to alter that program, even though it's adopted by now, in line with what it has been discussed by now. Am I audible, members?
Yes,
so that next time they don't come up with a program and say, no, we don't know this program.
Yeah. That's why we say, Chair, it's a working document.
There you are. You got it right. Thanks, members. Let me give it to my co-chair, the doctor here, to ensure that he officially closed the meeting. But before that, let me check if there's any other matter that is left unattended, members. We'll start with you, members. Anybody?
Chair, only one.
Yes.
That it seems like we have many doctors here, so we'll encourage members of the committee to also go and do their PhD. Thank you.
And you see, some of us are affected when you start that. You might not even chair this meeting once you start that discussion. So thank you very much, members. Let me give it to Dr. Matole. I also respect the other doctors that are in this committee, and it's a privilege to chair doctors into a meeting. Thanks, members.
Co-chair, I think
recording in progress.
A doctor, you just need someone to honor you officially. From your contributions in this parliament, you qualify. You are on the same level with those doctors. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we do, Doctor. We hear you very clearly.
Yeah, in conclusion, Chair, I must thank you greatly for steering this ship very, very well. And also saying that we should, as a committee, thank Advocate Pilot, despite the fact that he has been deployed and there were all the other challenges. It is quite clear that Advocate Pilot and Sisanda did not stop doing their work. And that's why they were able to produce the program, produce the reports, which are, of a higher standard. And we are grateful to them and hope that they keep up the good work. but also for members of the committee. You can see that you have chairpersons from other committees or members of other committees, but that they take this committee seriously. And we really want to thank them, because this committee addresses what President Mandela would call the soul of the nation. Because, for instance, if the people's languages are not recognized, it's just as good as not recognizing the existence of those communities. But thank you very much. So we'll be looking forward to the next program, and hope that this year we will not close the year as having been a talk shop, that there will be tangible results, something that we can take to both houses of parliament for adoption, especially on the language questions. I want to thank you, honorable members, and wish you a very good day and time. Bye. The meeting is closed.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned, members.
Recording